Talkin' Country. You're listening to Talkin' Country with Paul Taylor.
Hi, welcome to my channel, Talking Country, where we'll be chatting to the stars of country music from around the world, whether it's in Nashville, Australia, UK, Ireland. You'll get it here first. If you like us, subscribe and give us the big thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Brother Joe's driving his first car, dating girls and hanging out in bars. From where I stood it looked like every kind of cool. How I long to be back there in school. Can't take it back, can't start again. No peeking round. Nice, you better be kind, 'cause life ain't got no rewind. Got out of school and started work next day. Bought a beat up car with my first pay. Joe grew up, got married, now he's settled down. Ain't that the way this life goes round? Can't take it back, can't start again. But no peeking round the last bend. No, the tide is moving fast, so write a story that will last. You gotta play nice, you better be kind, 'cause life ain't got no rewind. Live in the moment, live for today. Enjoy the journey, take your time. It's when you're sitting on your front porch, thinking of the years gone by. Let memories remind you how to fly. Can't take it back, can't start again. No peeking round the last bend. No, the time is moving fast, so write a story that will last. You gotta play nice, you better be kind, 'cause life ain't got no rewind. Yeah, you gotta play nice, you better be kind, 'cause life ain't got no rewind.
2, 1. Well, that's the brand new single Rewind by Tennessee Twin, who are all the way from Cambridgeshire and on the Zoom now. How are you doing, guys?
Really well, thank you. Just
We are.
recovering from the weekend.
Yeah, I think we've just about got back straight with life after the British Country Music Festival, which was just the most superb weekend. We had a great fun. Really enjoyed our set on Saturday and met up with so many people we haven't seen for far too long.
It was an amazing set as well, because like I say, I was fortunate to be there just on the Saturday. And just to let people know the professionalism of you guys, we did do an interview at the at the festival, but the sound just wasn't really up to it. So they kindly said they would come on tonight. So which I appreciate. But yeah, the set was amazing, and it was great how it was set up, because obviously you'd had Demi Mariner on one side, and you got this another stage, and it was like CMA.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was non-stop. and it's such a good setup, you know, because that's one of the difficulties is swapping artists at festivals. Obviously, you know, you're often swapping out 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7 musicians all at one go, and that's a tricky thing to do. But we felt they handled it superbly, really.
Yeah, really slick, really well organised.
Yeah,
I was bowled over by it.
And hats off to the tech guys, because you know I've done a bit of sound engineering, plenty of it in my past, and that's a tough to get any venture, but to do it, you know, it one act after another all day along, and they handled it so beautifully. The sound was wonderful.
Yeah, it was, and I think the settings were amazing. Like I said, that particular role, you didn't need reverb really; it was natural reverb, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was wonderful, and visually, just looking out, it looked spectacular. And
The
Yeah,
lighting
I
was
mean,
amazing. Yeah.
just a wonderful bit of architecture, and you know we were on obviously just after lunch, and the room itself, of course, is that there was no windows. So even though there's no windows, where it could normally feel oppressive, it actually felt very light and open, but still had that evening kind of feel about it, even though it was just after lunch. The lighting complemented it wonderfully. So yeah, set us up for, you know, it's really nice when you go on stage and you get that great lighting and the venue feels great. It just lifts what you do.
And great crowd as well, and very appreciative, wasn't there? There was, and again, when you go to the festival, you tend to see the same people going now, which is great, you know, and you just nod and how you doing, and but I think everybody was just like still taking the shackles off a little bit, and then suddenly went, right, we're back doing live stuff, aren't we? You know, and it was just I was bowled over by it, and probably one of my favorite venues, if I'm being honest with you now, because it was the first time there. I've done C2C a few times, but C2C is very much in your, you know, grand and in your face, and you can get lost in that. And I think as artists are probably during the day, you're obviously doing the daytime stuff on the periphery of the O2, but I think it can get lost a little bit.
it's so busy at the O2, and there's so many shops, and just people have just gone in to have lunch and got caught up in it all.
Yeah, you're almost
It's
having a
strange.
festival within a normal shopping precinct in many ways, which, you know, it actually can have a plus side, because
Yeah.
people who wouldn't maybe normally hear country music in that context actually stop and go, oh, actually, I really like that, and start to dig in and look things up and get involved. But it was an interesting week because, yeah, as you say, the O2 has that great big arena, and you can get some wonderful acts in there, a lot of people, obviously, and the stages around. See, a lot of festivals are outside, and being in Britain, you're always, of course, at the mercy of the weather. Some festivals struck lucky this year, some not quite so much. But being inside at the Winter Gardens as well, you know, you've just got that controlled atmosphere where they can do a great job of setting it up. And yeah, there were so many people there that and we got to know a lot of new people as well. We stood at our merch stand well over an hour talking to various people after the set, which is just wonderful to meet new people.
And I think that's the thing about merch as well. One of the things that we've been sort of banging on about artists, certainly during lockdown, you know, he says, still buy the merch, still go onto the website, let's support acts, let's support artists, you know. But I've noticed a lot more people have, right, another you know, want a t-shirt, I want to get, you know, and they've got that feel good factor again, as artists have as well.
Yep, and they were keen to have their CDs signed, and they wanted photos with us, and to stop and chat. They didn't just sort of quietly shuffle up and buy something and disappear. Everyone wanted to spend a bit of time chatting and talking about music.
It was, and with our YouTube show, which we do every week, the Sofa Sessions, you know, that's 110 episodes come this week. And we're now starting to see people who, you know, who subscribe and watch it every single week, and coming up to us at gigs and say, oh, we really enjoy the Sofa Sessions, we watch you every week. And, you know, so people who have actually just seen us online, now they've got the opportunity to come out to a gig, actually coming and saying hello and meeting us and enjoying the music, you know, firsthand.
It's good having the Sofa Sessions. It's quite clever. It's sort of a relaxed kind of vibe, isn't there, going on around what we say Sofa Sessions? But I'd probably be lying down, you know, if I was doing the gig.
Someday we will.
It's we're usually not relaxed when we're doing it. Obviously sitting and talking to the camera by yourself is never super relaxing, but we're often, you know, to say that we're 110 episodes in now, so whilst we have a pretty decent pad of music that we play regularly, we're well into learning a new song every week just for the show now. And life busy as it is, quite often the case, it's half an hour before we sit down to record it, and we haven't yet played it together. We've looked at it a little bit through the week separately, but so we're anything but relaxed when it comes to actually playing it. But we're just really glad people are enjoying it, and roll on 200, I think.
Yeah, you've probably got more episodes than Coronation Street by the end of all this.
Well, we're getting there. I think they've got a few on us.
Season 2,
Yeah.
but going back to the single Rewind, it's a great single and quite clever, isn't it? You've got the sort of sound effects as well going, backwards and forwards. Where was the idea for that?
I think it started when we bought the cassette player recently, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I've been involved in as sound engineer and recording long enough that I did my training on reel-to-reel tape. That's we on 1 and 2 in reel-to-reel tape with razor blades to edit and things like that. Which is horrific to think back about it now. But Rewind was the idea of the lyric of Rewind was thinking about that point in your life where you stop wanting to be older, because when you're growing up, when you reach 15 or 16, you want to be 17 so you can drive, or 18 so you can go to the pub, and all these things. But then there's a point a bit later on where you suddenly think, oh, it'd be great to be young like that again and go back to those days and maybe do things a bit differently for some people. But that was the thought of Rewind. It was a sort of message to those enjoying those times in life that just slow down, enjoy, what's going on now, because, you can't rewind the clock. But yeah, to go back to the sound effects, we thought it'd be quite fun to go back to our past and the old reel-to-reels and record. We've got a very old 60s valve-powered Telefunken reel-to-reel here.
Wow.
In a little museum of sound gear that I have. And we thought, great, we will just stick a microphone in front of that and rewind it and fast forward it, and that will be the sound effect. But it's actually in such good condition that it doesn't make that noise. It's pretty quiet. So we ended up having to trawl the internet and sample libraries to find the right sound to make it work properly. So a bit of a disappointment on that one, because we always like to record as much as we can ourselves.
Oh, I've got a little bit of a gadget, because I am a gadget man, for like recording when I was on the hoof kind of thing. And it was Focusrite brought out this thing called iDock, and you can put your iPad into the dock, which had all the presets of a normal Focusrite, say Scarlett or whatever, and you slotted it in and all the valves and all that. But the app that came with it was reel-to-reel.
Yes,
and you can actually do all the reel-to-reel stuff with it as well, which is quite cool.
Well, it's in recording, it's an irony that now we've got all this wonderful digital technology which is super duper clean and doesn't impart any character at all on the sound, that actually one of the most difficult things to do, but the most desirable things to do, is emulate that sound of an expensive big 2-inch reel-to-reel tape machine. And you can buy very expensive plugins for your computer to emulate that. So now we've come all that way in technology. It's actually who can do the best at harking back to the old days to make it sound like it used to, in places like Sun Studios and Abbey Road and all of those kind of guys with the big tape machines.
It's like people now getting a lot more vinyl, and they're getting going back to the normal deck, and people are going, oh, great, we'll charge you 20 quid then for Rumours by Fleetwood Mac, and they're all in my attic, There's all said to my girls, don't buy anything. Everything's up there in the attic, all shrink wrapped, ready to hand down to you.
Yeah, we have our fair share of vinyl here, I have to say.
Just say, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my prized possessions is I have a late 1950s Dansette record player in the old suitcase style, fully functioning, sits in our hallway. And when we have guests for dinner or whatever, we have that on, as with sometimes suitable kind of something like Rumours, or the original Hotel California, or even some Buddy Holly or something like that.
I used to work with a guy, and he was single, I might add, and he said he'd spent about 30k, and this is going back in the 80s, on a Lin system.
Oh yes. Yeah,
and he said, you've got to come and have a look. And it was like, oh, okay then. But it was like, took over the house. But he said that a needle cost $5,000 or something like that, But yeah, I do miss that crackle and that white noise kind of thing, and it's like I say, everything's clean and digital, and Well,
I think the vinyl thing goes, it's partly the sound, but it's also the physical act of holding and looking at something. we went to see the Wandering Hearts just recently, and they've just launched their new album vinyl, and they were saying that one of the nice things they can do is actually put the song lyrics in the liner notes. So you can actually open them up, and rather than digging around online and trying to find some that may or may not be right, you can actually have the artist. This is actually what the lyrics really are, and that's really nice. And we've been recording a new album for
20 years, it feels like.
Yeah, since 2019. Obviously, COVID put it back quite considerably, but we are getting there now, and putting it out on vinyl, at least in a limited run, is certainly in the plan. So.
Well, the Wandering Hearts were on the show about 3 weeks ago. I think by the time they come up north, I think it's going to be March 2022. So I'll catch up with them down here. But some of my friends went to like Bristol and places like that just to see them. But yeah, it's just great the amount of, like I said, being on our radio shows, just seeing how much talent there is in the UK. Singer songwriters with original stuff. And now that we've managed to get the festivals open, I can see it firsthand as well, because obviously I'm listening to it and on the radio. But I was just absolutely bowled over, like at Buckle and Boots, and obviously at the Blackpool Festival as well, of the amount of talent that there is, and it's just awe-inspiring, to be honest.
Yeah, I think people are finally starting to realise as well. People are going to country gigs, they're suddenly realising there's a whole scene right on their doorstep, and you can see them gradually wanting to come along to the gigs and talk about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously there's been the travel from the US has been so limited in the last few months, and probably will continue to be so, I think, for a little while, that festivals have had to redo their lineup and incorporate an almost 100%, if not 100%, British lineups, and everybody's going, actually, we really enjoyed that, So hopefully that will transpire to a much more British-centric festival scene for next year. Certainly Blackpool, obviously that's their focus anyway. But it's a great opportunity. We managed to catch up with some good friends like Kezia Gill and Gareth Nugent and people like that over the weekend. The last gigs that we were playing before COVID were with these guys, and there's some incredible talent out there. I could name probably 50 people, but people like Bob Fitzgerald and guys like that, and Sandy McClellan, and just amazing talents out there.
Kezia was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and like I say, I saw her at Buckle and Boots. I wasn't there Friday to see that, but again, she's just going all the way up, and Gareth's a character. I had a really good in-depth conversation with Gareth, and he's coming on the Zoom because, like I said, the sound quality was, but he wanted to speak to me this afternoon. He sent me some demos, which he said, I want you to have a little, I won't do the Irish lils, but he said, I wanted you to have a little listen and see what you think. And he phoned me this afternoon as I'm getting on the train. I said, can I give you a call tonight? So I'll give him a bell. But he's a good character, and I think that's what you need as well, and I think that's one of the things that I was talking to a couple of the girls as well, like say Kezia and people like say, that there isn't a conveyor belt of the same old that you do get in Nashville and places like that, where they've got the melody line, they're told by a record label that's the way to get to the top of the charts, and the political stuff that ensues after that. But they've got their own individuality. The vocals are different. Your vocals are different than, and it's just great. I mean, your vocals on Saturday when I was listening give me goosebumps because it was crystal clear. Just you and your guitar. There was no razzmatazzy kind of, it was just pure music. And I thought that was just phenomenal.
Thank you. I mean, that's very much our thing. I mean, ironically, we're just starting back rehearsing with the band. In contrast to that, it's been kind of the acoustic team's been kind of forced on by what's happened in the last year or two. But we've both been performers for more years than we care to remember, and with bands and on our own, all those kinds of things. So most of it comes relatively naturally. But the vocal harmonies are if you asked anybody that knows us what our big thing is, I guess that's probably that and the songwriting. We like to tell a story or two in our songs, don't we?
Yes, generate.
Where'd you get your inspiration to songwrite?
Sometimes it's life experience. Sometimes it's observation. A lot did come from when we did the Songs and Stories collective live stream last summer, where we will challenge each other with a theme each week and try and song with a theme, because that just started to open up a whole library of.
Oh wow!
It comes from all different places.
Yeah, some of it is just things that happen to you, or things that you see happen to other people. Other things, as we said last year, it literally was. But one of the songs we put out last year, Every Story, for example, that had come out been written just prior to the Songs and Stories thing. That came out from just observing, quite how mean people can be to each other on social media, and how when you really dig into what's going on, there's often a whole nother side to what you're seeing on those comments. And so we wrote Every Story around that, but that was 3 mini stories of fictional stories. They're not about anybody particular, but that's quite a challenge as well to think through what might be going on with those fictional people.
It's great. I mean, I spoke to one songwriter, Jimmy Ritchie, and Jimmy been on the show a couple of times. He's with Eleanor Springs, right, from Sweden, but also like to Jake Owen and people like that, he produces and writes. And I said to him, where'd you get your ideas? He said, I spend an afternoon or two in Walmart, people watching.
Oh, fabulous.
Yep.
Oh, right.
That would do it.
Over here it's called stalking, but I left it with him, but no, isn't that interesting that where you think, because a lot of people say like life expect, you could hear something on the couple of songs I wrote, it was like little snippets from different people and painting and saving it and then going, I like that phrase, or I like that sound, and then build around that story, and I think like obviously country music is life experiences, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's just amazing listening to other people, how you come about things. But that's a great idea where you're obviously doing the sofa sessions and then challenging. I think that's great.
Yeah, the Songs and Stories Collective was something we did with Donna Marie, who's up from Warrington, and Sarah Yo, who's from Exeter. So we were literally 3 corners of the country, and we'd never met Sarah when we first we'd heard her music and thought she's a person we're about I think we're going to get on with. And through a conversation on Twitter, we just said, well, why don't we do a live stream? This was back in, I don't know, April or something like that.
Yeah,
between the 3 of us, and we'll just do a cover and an original each, just for fun. And then I think it was 14 weeks we did that on the trot, and we got into themes and said, right, we'll challenge each other to either have a song or write a song by next week. And we ended up with one particular weekend when we'd actually written 2 songs by Saturday night for the Sunday broadcast.
Awful.
Yeah, we both sort of went to bed that night and woke up the next morning and sort of, I forget we said to who, but we just sort of said, do you actually like any of those? No, don't really like any of those. So I think we started the song writing a new one at 11:30 in the morning, or 11 o'clock in the morning, and we performed it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a live stream.
Oh, quality.
Don't really want to rush and do that again.
It wasn't fun.
But it did turn out to be a rather good song.
So what's in the pipeline then for you guys? I know you've got another festival coming up shortly.
Yes, we're at Ilfracombe Country Music Festival. We've got Nashville Calling. We've got Slaughtered Lamb in London with Shannon Hines coming up as well. All manner of things. I've lost track actually. There's so many gigs. Now everything's opened up. It's gone crazy, which is great. We've got Bedford as well. They're live in the living room in November.
Yeah, that's in November. And it's a great day of music. It's wall-to-wall artists in songwriter rounds from, I think, let's say at 1 p.m. till through till 10:30 or 11 p.m.
That's in Bedford in November, is it?
That's it at the Bedford in Balham in South London.
Right.
They did that. James Vince, who runs Live in the Living Room, which is another YouTube channel, done thousands of artists, and he does a lot of work for raising money for meningitis, the Meningitis Trust, and I don't know how many artists are on that one, but there's a lot.
It's packed.
Yeah,
there's loads of people.
Yeah.
Try and get down there.
Yeah, it's well worth trying to get to that one, because you'll see an awful lot of really good quality people. So and you can look up on Facebook, Live in the Living Room, you'll find that.
And what about people who want to hear more of your music? How do they get to it? What's your website called?
Our website is TennesseeTwin.com, so nice and easy. And our socials are all at Tennessee Twin UK. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely
this kind of thing.
That's it. It's as simple as you get some and you're thinking it's a bit too convoluted and complicated. Hashtag this, that, or hyphen. No, Don't do hyphens.
Yeah, it's something we spent a bit of time actually syncing them all together. So, and now we've got things that cross post between one platform and another, then keeping the same one on all of them makes it so much simpler. But we tend to do TennesseeTwin.com is where we blog on there quite a lot. Victoria blogs on there quite a lot. But it has all links to the music and things like that, all of course, and the gigs and the merch and all that good stuff. YouTube, we do our weekly show of the Sofa Sessions, and most of the time the rest of the stuff goes on Facebook. We do a bit of Twitter and Instagram as well when that's appropriate, but YouTube and Facebook are our two big ones.
Oh, well, good luck with everything. And I really want to say a big thank you for coming back on to have a chat with me. Like I said, I'm sorry about it was good meeting you face to face for whatever,
Absolutely.
So and that's what it was. And I'm like going back, capping and going, I'm sorry, but it didn't happen. But we had a good time. God bless her, Hayley McKay. It's not showing me in a good light list. We'd done about 5 minutes, and I said, there you go, thank you. And I went, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? She said, what? I said, I've not pressed record.
Oh, no.
Because she came, it was like I got to get a drink, and she was waiting for it. So it was like rushing and that. And she went, you are, and her face was like thunder, you're joking. And then she deadpan, and then basically said, oh, it's okay, at least I know what you're going to ask me now. But
that's true.
But what I did was I didn't ask her the same questions.
Brilliant.
And that one came out. But we had a good laugh and thing. But what was really strange was this big fan liked her and bought her a pair of boots, because obviously we were at the boot stall. Wow. And these boots, and she said, I can't, and the dad's like there, and he said, I can't accept these. He said, no, I've bought them for you now, and I paid. There you go. I was like, really? They just bought these boots. And I thought, and I was saying to him, I said, I'm an artist as well, and I've got my eye on some Marriott's, but stay safe, you two. And as I say, good luck with the new music. And like I said, just drop us a line with anything that you want us to play here. I'd love to play it, and I'd love to see you all again, because like I said, you've got a fan here now. So good luck with the rest of the year and next year as well.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to meet you.